Um, eh, odd.
Suck to like just kind of leave it at that. So
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
see if we can get rolling here again.
Yep. Yep. I'll have to. Everything got shut down, so I'll have to re-invite you.
I like shut stuff down. Like I didn't know if it was me, so I like
No, it was something. I had this happen a couple weeks ago as well, where it just the internet just kind of bleeped and then it
shit the bed.
yeah it did. So I'll um I'll bring you back on. Okay.
Okay,
All right. Bye.
ciao.
I've got to love when we put so much work into things and then the internet says no, no,
Fuck sakes.
right? Like
It was going good too.
we had a good crowd, so hopefully we'll see people come back and wrap up the show here. Because yeah, unfortunately, I honestly don't know what happened there. My OBS disconnected, and then I lost connection to the internet, and then the Zoom automatically closed, and then I lost full internet on everything. So uh,
Oh
just one of those like what the heck.
yeah.
Um, so thanks, Maddie. Yeah, we honestly it was going too well for a bit, and the internet decided no, you're
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a great show.
We're gonna get
Finish.
spun out by the internet machine.
Yeah, it was kind of annoying because we were having a good old show, a good episode, lots of good banter, and yeah, it unfortunately just seems that um, a small glitch turned into a bigger glitch, which led to even more glitching. Uh, so it it's it sucks when that happens because we
Hmm.
gotta um, kind of welcome everybody back in, and most people once it goes, they kind of like, oh, I guess the show's done, right?
Yeah,
So
that's it for the day.
yeah, so we'll we'll see if we get people to come back in for the last little bit, and um, it like we said, like you said, shit happens, right? It it sucks, but there's nothing we can really do about that. If it decides not to work, it decides not to work, and we'll be back with
Stickers and Scuffs is the nice little podcast with the biggest tech issues.
Jacob Sutcliffe has got what looks to be a Harvey's meal. I'm gonna guess maybe some Swiss Chalet. He's got SNS Live up on the TV in front of with the fireplace going, as him and I guess a couple other people tuning
That's a
in
nice little
watching
Friday
us.
night right there, eh?
That sounds pretty good, man. How about you deliver some of those baby back ribs over here, man? Like be teasing me with that shit right now, huh? That's not very nice. Um, but I think we talked about this before. I mean, as of right now, we haven't. set plans for, it was the apple juice companies. It's because I was touting. It's because I was touting Allen's, right? And so all those rival companies are like, no,
Yeah.
no, we
Del
ain't having
Monte's
that.
like shut him down.
um, but we have talked about potentially doing some sort of a an SNS banquet in the future. Um, and I think that that's still something that we are going to toy with for next year, Graydon. It would be a big undertaking, but having representation from the tracks, people from the tracks, our partners, our racers all kind of come on in. Absolutely, positively not an open bar because there is no chance we can afford that. With the racing community's bar
That's
bills,
true.
hell, your bar bills, and we wouldn't be able to afford
I was
either.
gonna say
So,
mine. Yeah. Well, I'm a little more gun
but
shy with
see,
the.
see, Calvin's first question, open bar. See,
Yeah, we do like to party. That's the problem.
that would be the problem.
Yeah,
Apple juice for days, man. Um, Big shout out to everybody that's been a part of the show this year, Ladies of the Oval Month. Andrew Clark's episode is up right now. Hannah Lamont up on deck next week. Um, and then we got Laura Authier, Donna Tolton to end up the month. Before we get into February, we do have a wait list. Unfortunately, fortunately, unfortunately for people, it is a good problem to have. Um, I don't trust that you're a cheap drunk at all, Gord. I feel like you're high class with that fireball. We all know that. But I think right now, heading into the 2025 season, we've got pretty much every schedule out there. We're not going to get Peterborough's until Motorama. We're not going to get Sunsets, I believe, until the banquet, which is next Saturday, I believe. And then Sobbles, I believe, is still looking within the next 2 weeks as well. So I've heard some rumblings on some possible cool stuff happening with all three of those tracks. So um, there's possibly some reasons why they're delaying. Um, we could have probably gone to the banquet for Sunset, but we also want to make sure that the racers get the opportunity to be there at their track. They're the show there, and we've got our big year on tap for yourself. Graydon's got a lot of racing to do while still being a part of the show,
yeah,
co-hosting and doing some really cool initiatives at the tracks this year. With some giveaways that we're really proud about. I realized actually that I left a box on my desk that had stuff for you for those giveaways. So we'll have
that's all
to.
right.
But that tends to happen. Um,
Yeah,
so
it.
you know,
I want like we are definitely gonna like tackle some events together for
yeah,
sure. Because I mean, that's kind of what I mean. This wasn't what it was about right away because we did the show for like whatever it was a year and change before we actually met each other. But I mean,
yeah,
when when we get to like get together and hang out in person, that's awesome.
it's a good time.
And again, like just the way it's kind of worked out with Sobel this year is that they're in a position where I feel like I'm contributing to a rebuild of sorts,
Yeah,
and I feel very privileged for that. And while at the same time, I get to enjoy some family time at the campground, at the beach in town, with Jessica and the boys, and also I get to go and race cars with some people that I get to call friends, and we're gonna try and gun for a points title. So I mean that's nothing to shout at, and I say that because I feel like I need to reiterate it because our model for the podcast is very much like what Racer's model is, that we seek um, support, financially, product wise, from companies, and we try not to cannibalize and dip in the pool that all the racers do
Yeah.
either. And so, by virtue of all those things, I try to like the my I try to offset my personal expenses of going to the races, but the way I acquire my funding, I try to keep it outside of both of those things because we don't want our partners thinking that I'm using our podcast funds for my personal racing. Like my racing is a standalone thing. My
Yes.
suit, my Epic Racewear suit has our logo and my partners on it, and some of them overlap at the show, but
Yep.
that's because we want to tout this brand. But me driving the car is me driving the car, and it's we're I mean the lines kind of blur a little bit, but at the same time we're trying to keep them defined. Like I do not take funding from our show, and I don't take funding from our partners that invest in the show unless they decide of their own free will to like
Yeah.
the Epic Racewear thing kind of doubles over in the sense that they support the show and they also support me personally, but it's I'm just the beneficiary of that. And at any rate, um, to what Cam said, we have a great year coming, for Cam's schedule, for what mine is, which again will be kind of determined by the
The
way
the
the rest of the
the
track
rest.
schedule shake
Yeah.
out, right?
It really kind of depends on these next three schedules.
Right.
As of right now, we have a big presence in the Outlaw Midgets and the Ontario Legend Car Series. We've actually just added another driver, thanks to JDC Motorsports. We will be on every single one of their cars for this year.
That's
So
pretty awesome.
Dawson, Caleb, Jeremy, and Keaton Pipe. We've already talked with Robin Yongan about potentially kind of covering a little bit more and doing a little bit more work for Ontario Legends when we are at the track when they are. That's the kind of the big thing for us. We kind of moved away from the OSS. They're doing their own thing this year, and we're no longer affiliated as such on the track or the series side of that. We are still fully going to support them no matter what, and support the drivers, but we want to get behind a couple of different series, and Outlaw Midgets kind of tagged us in some stuff because I think they know that uh, we've got at least half their roster, it looks like, as SNS Racers, which is awesome. Hooligans Hurricanes as well. I know they want to do a couple of things with us as well. So I just want to point it out there, though, Graydon, that we are only two people. There's other opportunities for people to reach out to Jomo Media, reach out to Turn 3, Ryan Cowan and Scott Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out to Rich Schwarzenberg at Only Fours if you are, of course, in the Bone Stock community. The Wide World of Motorsports, the Feeney Call, now kind of merged with the True North Racing podcast. There are a lot of opportunities to get your names out there and support. Obviously, you have the main staples of Race Rivals, Race Chat, and of course, the long running um, and historical podcast as it is. You have Race Time Radio, some more the other new podcasts going to do it for Dale, Ty Claxton, for the Do It for Dale promos, as he mentions there in the chat. So definitely reach out, and if you want to be able to be a part of those organizations and try and support them, we're extremely excited to continue to build the racing community in 2025, especially because the racing community continues to give and support. Um, if you are looking at having our logos anywhere aside from your race car, please make sure that you do get the electronic zip file from myself. Um, you can use kind of any of the logos that we do have. We just ask, of course, that you are using high quality and not using a logo that we no longer use, because we did see that last year quite a bit. Um, and then, of course, the big thing is we have ambassadors for 2025. Hannah Lamont out at Delaware Speedway will be one of our ambassadors. Mac Ingram out at Flamborough Speedway. Brody Coates at Peterborough Speedway. We will also have Doug Butler, who is our veteran
Yeah.
um, ambassador. Did I get everybody? That was all five, right? I think so, right?
Yeah, I
That was
think
five.
so.
Yeah, we don't do this job for the math. Um,
Yeah, we're
but
not math majors here.
no, not at all. So for 2025, yeah, we're ready to go and ready to continue to build and um, see what else we can get. There's a lot of question marks, I think, still for next year. Once we get those schedules out, we'll try and clear up. I know right now my only confirmed date is June 21st for NASCAR Canada at Sunset. That's a definite no miss for me, just because it's been such a long time since it's been over a year.
I hope I can make that one. I would love
Yeah,
to see it
well,
again.
it just depends on what your schedule is in terms of if you're on racing duty. So if that's the case, we'll still try and do what we can out there. And um, yeah, and definitely what we're excited about is we got a couple new additions as well from out east. We've got our buddy and man, I know he just waved hi in the chat, but I really want us to chat about Regan. He was on Tim Terry's podcast the other day,
Yeah,
and
did a great job.
dude, he's so good. He's so good. Um, we knew that kid was magic before, uh, and he's continuing to show that he is a future in Atlantic Canada in maritime racing, but just not just there, but in general. And Riegsy makes us so proud. We know he's not going to be with us for too long because he's got
That
a
kid's
future
destined
there.
for big stuff, man.
Yeah, he's I'm telling you guys, he is so good, and
He's the real deal for sure.
to have Tim mention us on his podcast and
Yeah, holy
have our
shit.
yeah exactly. It's like
Oh,
I'm
he
I'm
just
as I
hey,
was saying like right there. It's like
hey Tim.
that's friggin' Tim Terry, man. Like
Like
that's the
wow.
guy.
Woo.
So we'll have to try and see if we get Tim out here at some point and be on SNS and talk about maritime racing with Riegsy. I
Yeah,
think we can do
absolutely.
can definitely put something out together and see if we can
We like
have
those
Regan.
crossover things, eh? Like
Crossovers, man. We've seen how well that worked for Marvel, so I mean it's a little different scale, but we have the what do you call it the Canadian Motorsport Cinematic Universe, something like that.
yeah.
But
But
it
yeah,
is
Reeks, we before the mail strike, this is the last one and this has got your name on it, buddy. That's coming to you. But when we got kind of the rumor of the mail strike happening, I kind of withheld from sending the package. So we're gonna get that on its way to you, buddy, and a couple other goodies. But we definitely appreciate the way what you bring to the table and elevate our game. Absolutely, for sure. I mean, we counted ourselves lucky when the talk of you collaborating with us was on the table. We're like, oh my god, like this guy's like out of our league. So
he's way out of our league.
it just honestly just so knowledgeable and professional and just yeah, man. Thanks, Reeks. You do such good work for just motorsports in general and for your own brand, but for us, we can't thank you enough, buddy.
And the thing is, he is so young. We got started this,
Tim's in.
I got started doing this deal when we were in year five, so I was still in the 20s, but the late 20s, and he's in the early 20s, and he's already 2 years in. So He's a great. I don't even know if he's in the 20s now. To
I
think
guess
about
I
it.
was in the tail end of my 30s then when we
You
started
were,
this.
you were, buddy. Now we're old farts and people can't get rid of us. So, is it's obviously it's an honor to and thank you, Tim, for posting the comment. We'll definitely be in contact with you. I think I'd want to have we
Absolutely,
definitely
much
want that.
respect.
We'd want Regan to lead that episode. I think that
Mm,
he deserves that, and you know it. Uh, he's we've already signed up some new SNS racers from out east. Stephen Picot in the 34 Legend, and obviously Corbin McCauley back with us. Gary Elliott. That's I can't even believe we get to say that. Gary Elliott back with us
the one and only
again.
Iron Man.
The Iron Man himself, Gary Elliott, back again, and um, uh, it's definitely an honor. We're looking at guys. Honestly, we are trying our best to try and do merch this year. It is
Bear
just
with us, yeah.
yeah, it's there's been a lot on the table for a lot of different things, a lot of stress recently for yours truly, and once everything kind of settles down for me, then I think we can get kind of back to um, you know, getting back to reality here and get all that sorted out. But it's not as just simple as, let's just buy some shirts and sell them. There's a
No,
lot
there's
that's got to go into
business
it.
to it as
Yeah,
well. So,
a lot of business that comes into it. And we appreciate those that have shown interest in us having merch. That's just an honor in itself, and um, uh, it's just a matter of financially making the right calls and with the designs and wanting color and uh,
mhm.
sizes and then the shipping and it's just um, we've talked about doing hero cards, we've talked about doing countless things, and so Sam, if you want Graydon's autograph, that'll be $50. um, big
He
time.
made that rule, not me.
Yeah, big time podcast slash racers.
That's my
You know,
agent.
there you go. That's what we do. I didn't say more than $50, but uh, a lot goes into it for sure. It is true, and I
Way
think
to
those
put
that,
value on something that's worthless.
yeah, basically that'll be our entry fee covered. So, um, and yeah, it is. There's a lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, we don't want people to buy merch that they don't end up wearing. It is.
There again, we don't want
You know,
people to like part with their hard-earned money
nah,
for
not
something
for
that's kind of
us.
worthless. We
Nah,
have to think long and hard about doing this and doing this in a way that's, I mean, good for us. Obviously, I mean, we're not all about the money, as we've said, obviously, but at the
yeah,
same time, it's got to be worth the while to do all that. But at the same time, we're in the business of purveying all of you guys as racers. So I mean that's our number one purpose. So like we want to make sure that all you guys and gals as racers have merch before us. So I mean that's kind of our priorities. So kind of bear with us and understand that that's kind of where our loyalties lie. We're trying to push you guys, not ourselves first.
exactly. It's not about. Uh, we'd much rather someone see your T-shirt,
Yeah.
us wearing your T-shirt,
Yes.
and them asking about that race car driver and where that track is and what that series is more than us. It race cars. And I think that the world, especially in Canada, we are so multicultural and um, that is great. But it also means that there's a lot of people that have no idea what racing is.
Zero. Yeah.
And so we've already seen a couple of occasions. I always, when I go into the office downtown, I'm always wearing a Racers t-shirt.
I
You know,
Yeah,
always
it's
wearing
like
either a
largely
Racers hat.
what we own and wear, right?
So when we started this podcast, I had absolutely zero racing t-shirts for racers in Canada. I had a William Byron shirt, yes, which is hilarious because that's not um, my driver, but that's what my parents got when they went to Hendrick Motorsports. Um, and I think it was a Daytona 500 shirt, and that was it. And now
Look at
I
us now.
I have more of a collage of uh, more Canadian racing shirts than I have any other type. And I love it. I love that I get to throw on like a Cameron McGlashan shirt or an Austin Arnell, Billy Zardo, Nick Ramsey, um, Brad Robinson, Ollie Ferguson, um, Graydon Bunn shirt. I especially love the BT Racing shirts. Our buddy Chris sent me a message today. Uh, Chris, for a guy that always tells us he's going to slow down, he doesn't have it in him, man. He was already building an enduro car. He's already finished, I think, Adam Generu's car for this season.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen some pictures.
I mean,
Dude's a junkie. He loves that
he
part of it.
loves racing. He loves what he gets to do, and
And I love to see him taking pictures of like
yeah,
his shop builds because you can tell that's where he thrives. He loves it.
he, and again, he's another one of those guys that it's the passion, man.
Hmm.
Um, it is the passion for the sport. I mean, Chris does. Said it before. Like, there's shit that just drives him crazy about it.
Yep.
Crazy. And he should just get out one day, but he can't because he loves it, right? And to see that he got that, I think it was dedication in motorsports or whatever it was from Delaware Speedway.
Yes.
Was there anybody that could deny that? Like, no. He is the example, the golden standard when you talk about
Like a
commitment.
generational standard. Like that's everything that
His dad
Chris and
taught him
Joe's
well.
dad stood for as well.
Absolutely. His dad taught him well. And now you got, like, if you think about Nick Adamson's going to run out of Peterborough, Dylan McMahon out of Sauble, Graham Ben's going to have cars from them, Flambro's going to have cars from. I think the only place potentially, the only track that might not have a BT car. Well, I don't know about Varney, but I think Sunset might be the only place that there's not a ex BT car or a current BT car running. That tells you everything that you need to know.
They're
They
like,
control the market.
yeah, I think even though he's thinning out the fleet, meanwhile he is building new cars. But I mean, that's just like what you say. Like when we talk about how we like the lineage of race cars and stuff, the Chris Lawrence touch is like out there now. Like there's cars with cages that Chris put in them
Yeah.
throughout the bone stock division, as you said, throughout Ontario now, and that's kind of cool. Like he's maybe emerging as sort of like I say the Miyagi of like
Is
roll
it is it is it
of like
almost like
four banger cages
like a
and
McCall WMI, but he's like the McCall of bone stocks? Like,
yeah, like it's
he's who
his
you call.
own. And as you said, he's fueled by that passion of contributing to that division at tracks all around the province.
And they're not doing it with cobalts. He's doing
No,
it with Sunfires, Cavaliers. He's
yeah,
got an
the
Integra this year for our old buddy Darren. He's going to be driving that 37 Integra out at Grand Bend.
Honda
And
powered.
we talked about this on the Monday show, man. Grand Bend's going to do a mile long race on their quote super speedway.
Yes,
Now it's a
the
very interesting
hybrid
look,
oval.
a hybrid oval. Interesting. I'm more excited
It's
to see.
outside the box, man. Like
Well, and
literally.
we've said it before. Like, And no disrespect to Grand Bend, but they really just for whatever reason don't seem to pull people out to the track. It's been a struggle,
But
and
is
they
this
have
not
to.
like an event that creates some allure where it's just like I almost got to check this out and see what this is about? Like,
Yes, absolutely,
so kudos
absolutely.
to the Grand Bend group, the Bennetts, and
You
putting
gotta
out
go
something
outside
where
the
it's just
box.
like this is an oddity where like I I kind of want to see how this shakes out
Me
personally.
too. Me too. I
Hell, I
like
would
the
like to be
idea.
in a driver's seat for that myself, but I
I,
mean it.
I still think if they could have a bone stock division that has 8 to 10 weekly, that's a good number,
Yeah,
right?
that's where we
It's
were
a
at
little
Sauble
busy.
last year. Like
Yeah, mini
you
truck,
got to
same thing.
start, and even like you can put on some pretty decent racing,
Yeah,
especially on a short track like that with 8 or 10 cars. And
3 is where they had I think most, and that's tough. Like that for fans. Fans don't want to watch 3 cars, right? That's where it gets really tough for them, and I feel for them, honestly. But I do love that they're going to take the go-karts this year and make a competitive championship with them. I mean,
yeah, like
that's what
play
you
to your
do.
strengths, right?
Do what you've got, right? Make
Mhm.
make this doable. And you know what? I give them credit for that. They put out a fresh new logo this year, which again, really nice. It's a really nice logo. I liked their logo before.
Yep.
Um, I I do think a lot of our tracks in Ontario, maybe more than some others, need a bit of a fresh up. It's very difficult to do that. I completely understand because we rebrand. You have to deal with me, right? And I love rebranding and refreshing, but I think it keeps people interested, right? What we did this year for the racer decal, we didn't change anything per se, but we freshened it up,
Yeah, just embellish on it a bit.
embellish it a little bit, but don't change the kind of the basic,
That's
which is the
bigger scale
stickers
when
and
you're talking
stuffs.
like racetracks where you have to change
So
signage
that's the
and
hard thing is when people go and they just say, "Oh, well, this is this and this is this and this is this." I'm going to put something out there. For, Paul from Full Throttle. What I really appreciate about Paul is he is upfront. Sometimes he's upfront and very blunt about it, but they went out and
you
posted,
never have to
"Listen,
wonder what Paul's thinking.
no," but he posted. I believe I'm pretty sure it was him. He posted and he said, "We are taking down these stands because they are not safe anymore."
Yep.
Cut, dry, to the point. Anytime somebody was complaining, he says it's not safe. I'm not sacrificing fan safety because people like it.
All it takes is one lawsuit and
All it takes, and they were close last year when that late model flew into the flag stand. They were close. Flambros had those moments. You
yep.
you just they cannot risk that. And for Full Throttle, this is something. Yeah, it's been there forever. It's been a staple of the track. But as Calvin says, once every couple years, change things up to keep things fresh. Same with stands. We've seen it. When I went to Richmond, there were stands all across the track. Now, where we sat, it's all gone. There's no stands there at all anymore.
Yep.
Tracks have to do stuff to make it unique and have to make it different. I say that for their websites as well. Get rid of the old pictures. You have to have up to date pictures. You have to have up to date standings. For God's sakes, have pictures of the drivers in their cars.
Yeah.
It's a lot to ask. I understand because a lot of these people that work for tracks, they might not be getting a ton of money to do it. But I have a
But if
problem,
you have a
Graydon.
website, you kind of need to keep it current. Otherwise, the website is not, it's dead weight. It's not
It,
an asset to
but
your
if
advertising.
you've never been there, Graydon, and you get a program, that's what I remember as a kid. You get the program, and I believe the Peterborough ones used to have pictures of the cars.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you do I did this as a kid, is you look for that car on the racetrack.
Yeah.
Well, if you do have it on the website, but there's no pictures for the kids, pictures for the fans, they don't know what the cars look like. They don't remember. You don't know all the drivers' names. Some people aren't like you and I who like, well, maybe just me, because I don't know if you're
Yeah,
like this,
more
but I like
you.
religiously go over statistics and names and shit like that. But programs were like, and I understand that it is a waste. It is a waste of money. Listen, let's not beat around the bush here. Your printing costs and then putting all of it together on a weekly basis, it is a waste of money. If you find a way to do it electronically and send somebody an electronic program, you know, that works just as well.
You like,
Because you can make all those edits a lot quicker, and then you don't have to spend all the money on the printing.
yeah. Even if you like for the marquee events, like if you had to choose like where you're going to do actual traditional print programs, like for your marquee events, maybe like put them out for that, as opposed to like weekly, like where it's, but in trade, the website becomes the weekly program, right? Like you need to have updated and current information on the website in order to replace the program paper copy week to week. So um, for the nostalgia side of it, yeah, keep it maybe for your marquee events just to have like a tangible souvenir, but definitely keeping like track website updated for all the things that you said is absolutely important.
I love the idea of doing that for so like the flying or uh the junior Hanley.
Hmm.
1,000% I would do them for that.
You
Um,
got your lap sponsors on it. You got the dignitaries present,
so
all
from
that.
us,
Like,
we did lap sponsorship. We got really
mhm.
nothing out of that, right? Because you get your name and top mentioned, but at the end of the day, that's
Yeah,
it.
if it's in a program, at least
It's
it's
in a
there
program,
forever.
then it's in print,
Yeah,
right?
somebody will have
Um,
that pressed between pages in another book somewhere forever or something. That their grandkids or something will open up one day and be like, "Oh, what the heck's that?" And it's just that kind of stuff. I think means something to a lot of us in this chat, where it's just like that tangible piece of paper that maybe like kids 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road will look at and be like, "Oh, what's that
I
about?"
still remember.
I love that stuff.
I still remember the 2003 program I got from Moss Sports Speedway for the very first ACC. I'm telling you, Calvin, that would be the
Absolutely.
perfect, perfect
That's like
program.
a New York Times best-selling novel right there if you did a
Because
program. Like,
what
come on.
Peterborough could do for that, and you've got like they've got Jim Clark there. Jim Clark
Yeah,
does. He's like
like you could turn that
communications.
into gold.
He would be able to do that no problem, right? But I agree. It's the same thing with Ty as you can do. Ty's mentioning about putting a PDF, making them PDF, or having like a QR code and it's an electronic copy.
That's a great point, Ty.
Because
And you're
A,
right, Matt.
we don't want them to all just go in the recycling bin because a lot of the times there's a lot of people that just recycle them, right? But Jacob, I want to see some of those programs. But I think that what you can do is what Sunset has right now for a perfect example. Danielle has pictures of all the racers. So you have track photographers. So Graham Ben can do this with April. April gets a headshot of every driver, a picture of every one of their cars, save it, and then they have it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see every driver from that track featured. You don't have to have photos of everyone. If you're saying like we're going to talk about the um, uh, for an example, we'll say the Junior Hanley, which I think is the type of, and maybe the Alan Lankin. I don't think the Lankin's on its own day though this year, so maybe the Flying Frank instead. But specialized events,
Mm-hmm.
you can have just a type out possible entry list. That's the shit that as a kid, you know me, I went crazy for. I love entry lists. Why? Because it's who could I potentially see? I remember going through, and I don't know if Trevelyan is still watching, but I remember the 2003 one, and I swear to God, Kevin Trevelyan's name was on that entry list, and he didn't show up, and I was so bummed. He was one of the names that was on it that wasn't there. And I
Sleep
recently
on
came
that tonight,
across,
traveling, son of a bitch.
yeah, I know, hey, what an asshole. Um, and I came across that electronically, because I think the one thing that we really need to do, honestly, and it might be a taboo thing to do, is to take those programs apart and scan them and save them electronically so that we have all of
Like it
these.
sure is they're scanning. Like if they're scanning racetracks to make them timeless, why the hell can't we do that with with the programs? I mean, just a little bit of nostalgia that we can preserve a little bit longer, right?
The thing that to do it is you would need someone like a Danielle. You would need somebody that's going to be able to do it week to week,
That's the thing.
right?
It all
You
comes
can't.
down to personnel.
Yeah, and the thing is you would have to get somebody that like a Jim Clark, right? Because Jim, that's his deal. He's a communications guy. He knows he can do all the articles. He can do the website stuff. Like he knows how to do all that shit, right? Um, Jim basically handles all of Peterborough stuff, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he would be the type of guy that you would want to be able to do a program like that. But I perfectly understand why tracks don't have programs anymore because
Hmm.
again, it's cost. As Gord was saying, it's the cost of printing that's the problem. And I would assume materials. If you want something like if you look at those some of those programs, man, they were top quality. Some of those they were like
Yep.
full color with like decorative covers and everything.
Well, like as Matt Robley pointed, like Delaware still does programs, and
Yes, they do.
they don't spare expense. Like they are
No,
a high quality program. Like they're
if I'm
very
not
well
mistaken, they
done.
have pictures.
Yep,
Yep,
color. Like
color and everything. And what's
not every
really
track can do that, of course, but it's like you talk about the gold standard of a weekly program that's still handed out. Like they do a good job there.
well,
It's
the one thing that I think was really good is if a driver can't afford to have hero cards done, they still have a way to sign an autograph because there was an autograph page,
that's right.
right? And as we talked about before, tracks could really benefit from having, if they're not going to have autograph sessions every week, because they're not, they have them special fan appreciation nights, then have two or three drivers available for autographs in the concourses with their hero cards, pictures, giveaways every week. Have something that the fans, especially as we talked about, the littlest ones, because they remember the most. Well, I can't say that the old guys don't like getting free shit too, but
That like
um,
this is
the,
something not to tip our hand about what we've talked about for Sobel is just
yeah,
where to your point, we don't have like tracks don't have time every week to do a fan appreciation
no,
thing. But it's not to say that we can't take aspects of fan appreciation and incorporate them into every week
hmm
just by the way you said. If your car, regardless of what division you're in, I'm using Sable as the example. Like at the intermission, if you have a bone stock driver that their car's good to go, no issues, no real pressure or anything. If you have a few minutes, even if it's not the whole intermission, go out to the concourse when the families are out there getting food and stuff. Take your hero cards, whatever you have, and just take that fan experience, that fan appreciation experience out to them. And you can give 10 or 15 kids, or kids that are trapped in adult sized bodies, um,
Yeah.
a good fan experience on a typical normal night at the races.
And
And
there's
that's the repeat customer thing. That's what gets
uh
them coming back.
autograph books are, we have to remember, racing has the biggest advantage over hockey, over basketball, over baseball, with the fact that kids can get autographs so much easier than they can if they were to go to any of those other games.
Yes, second to none accessibility.
You don't get to take a picture with the players on the court, whereas you can get into a race car that a driver was just in and have a picture.
Yeah,
Right?
the McPhersons are one of the best at doing that.
I remember Ben has his delivery bag with his dipping sauce, Muskoka dipping sauces on there, with his hero cards up into the stands.
It's like friggin' Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
With
We were at it a
that
couple of
delicious
times.
spiciness.
I remember Clinton going out there with Deckles at ACC, and it's like a horde coming at you with kids just coming out of everywhere
Yep.
with wanting the Deckles.
And further to that, as parents that we're getting a little bit removed, like the kids look after themselves now, as you've seen. But that's kind of the philosophy if you've been on like any sort of family vacation or a dinner at a restaurant that has really good service where you have good serving staff and stuff. The key to the parent's heart is making the kids happy. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you show the family a good time, but particularly focus on the kids, and for all the reasons we've mentioned, it's it's going to make the parents happy, and they'll be like, provided that it's good like they don't have to come and like break the bank every week. But if there's a good deal for kids to get into the track at a certain price, whether both parents come, one parent comes, whatever the case may be, it's a reasonably cost effective night out that your kids will be like, let's go again. Or you're even yourself, for what we've said. Like if you're out in the concourse getting autographs, and or you get to sit in the car. We were able to do that. I think at both Full Throttle and Sobel this year, where just people coming through the pits, you bring them over, and like you don't just let them touch the car, you let them get in the car that you've already practiced. Like the thing could still be like the engine could still be hot, or it's about to go out and see competitive laps, or whatever the case may be. That it's something that race fans can take away from the track that night when they go home, that you can't take away from uh, your NHL, NBA, MLB, any other typical sport. The accessibility, as we said, is is second to none, and that's not news to anybody else here. It's just a fact that if you're looking for everything's expensive, but if you're looking
Yeah.
for a reasonably cost effective night out where you can take home memories like your kids will take home that they will remember for possibly a lifetime, look
Yeah.
no further than grassroots racing, because they will more than deliver like exponential value on your ticket price in that case.
I mean the perfect example, we are perfect examples of this because I remember going and getting autographs for the first race I ever went to.
Yep.
I I I don't even remember when I went to get Reed Sorensen's autograph. Yes, Reed Sorensen at Richmond, because it wasn't the same experience. He was behind he was sitting up in a merch trailer, right? It's different when you get to go like the CASCAR race back in '03. You get to go on the grid. Like the
Right.
cars were right there. The drivers were in front of the cars. It's where I first met DJ, where I first met Brad Graham. Um, I had my list of drivers I wanted to go see. Cole Pern. Um, uh, Obviously, I was so scared of Don Thompson Jr. Like I thought of him as like that's Dale Earnhardt. Like that's
Yeah,
our
he was definitely that
right.
Earnhardt persona for sure.
And it's where I
Steve
first met.
Robley, perhaps.
I no, I never got to see Steve
Oh,
Robley, unfortunately.
no?
No, he was, however, Steve was in the Sportsman Series race in 2005 at Peterborough. And unfortunately, I still remember what happened that off of turn two on the like very first lap. Maybe it was first or second lap. He and Ron Lethbridge, I think he started third. Ron Lethbridge started fourth, and Lethbridge came up into him, and they were like destroyed early in the race. And it was the first sportsman race I ever saw, and Sean McGlynn won it. And I will always remember Sean's. I think it was may have been Sean's first like sportsman series win, not under like CarQuest like the CASCAR brand, but I was under
Yeah, yeah.
OSS, and um, it
But
was
like,
my.
look at that stuff that you remember of that. Like,
You know why is because you remember it because of what the event was. I don't really remember anything from the NASCAR race. And it's not a disrespect to them, but it didn't have the same meaning, right? Um, and that's
that's
still to this
awesome,
day.
Calvin
Still to this
Stanley.
day, there's so many racers that you remember, right? That's there's been some racers that we kind of have interacted with that we don't have this, it's just a kind of hello, how are you type of interaction. And then there's others
Yeah.
that you remember the personality right away. I tell you, like the first time I met Hot Wheels Jordan Owen, I was like, this guy he is so much fun. I was like, holy crap. Um, he's so energetic. He's like basically that little kid behind the wheel,
Yeah.
right? And then when I met, perfect example with Ben McPherson, I was like, this guy does not sound like he's like 16 years old. I was like, he talks like he's like 25, right?
And that's it too, right? Like, age is irrelevant when it comes to that too, because
Yeah.
here we are, grown men, looking at someone who is like barely legal to drive a car on the road,
And we're going, holy shit, that's
and
so
we're like, this
impressive.
guy is in a heroic position, right? Like,
It
that's
is.
it's a unique position to be in,
Yeah.
and it's a really cool position to be in. And I hope, excuse me, that everyone that is in the race, the position to be a racer, can take a time here and there to really soak that in and really appreciate and realize the special position that you're in, because I I'm saying that because I'm the guy that waited 40 plus years to do it, and it's just like I feel like I'm part of like the coolest freaking club ever. That
Oh, it is though.
like when you do have
I'm not gonna lie.
kids.
When you walk into the track, Graydon, and people say hello to you, do you not feel like hot shit?
Yeah, and it's
It's
like
like,
a an
wow.
increasing number of people that you don't know.
No.
Like people that know you but you don't know them. And I will say too, like I've had the opportunity to partake in a couple of the full throttle fan nights where
Yep.
it's electric, man, where you get like all the fans are out on the track with all the cars, like everybody's out there. It's like friggin' Mardi Gras for race cars, right? Like it's
Yeah.
such a cool thing to be a part of, and like and just the same for when we get to, like I say, the timetable at Sobel doesn't allow for
Yeah.
um really big festive like elaborate fan appreciation nights, but when we do get to do them, it's all about the bang for the buck. And that's where, like we were just saying, like we want to try and really bring that a flavor of that to each and every week, even though we can't celebrate it to its like maximum uh, magnitude, that we at least can implement aspects of a fan appreciation night to every race night.
Yeah, it
And that's something for every track. I mean, every track needs to really embrace the fans coming in, because
yeah.
fan participation at sporting events across the board, whether it is like your major stick and ball or these
Yeah.
niche sports, they need people in the stands for it to keep going. So, I mean, you
I'll
might not
tell
think
you.
it's much, but like buying a ticket for a Saturday night is a big deal.
I'll tell you. I remember so Brendan Doherty is my favorite racer announcer. Like he truly, Ben Hodgson is giving him a run for his money because Ben is really good for as young as he is.
Hmm.
Um, but Brendan, uh, which I didn't know until recently, but big wrestling fan. Coincidentally, Cam K, big wrestling fan. And what they did for the Junior Hanley was they gave people a walk up like song when they were
I love
announced.
it.
Very similar to what you get with a pro wrestler coming down the aisle, say like for the Royal Rumble, where
Yeah.
there's 30 entrants and they all have an individual song tailored to them, right?
Yeah.
Well, it creates an amazing atmosphere. We had somebody, I remember on social media, there was somebody who bitched and complained that it was lame, or you couldn't hear the songs, you couldn't do this, or it was they were trying to make it a big deal, and I was like, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, why would you be upset
It
about them
is a
trying to
big
make
deal.
it like it was something like this isn't like big time NASCAR or whatever, and it's like that's a terrible opinion to have, and to say something like that where you can tell that they're trying to put on a show.
And
And
for
if you
those
look at
drivers that aren't going to lead a lap or even maybe run on the lead lap, they all get that fair
all
same
get the
amount of
same feature.
time
Yeah.
to have their name spoken, their partner said.
Yeah.
Like, get
And it
bent, dude.
did. It did take forever, Calvin. And I think the reason is it you know the the big thing is, yeah, it will take a long time until you kind of get it nailed down. I'm going to say Sunset is not WWE. They don't have 700 people to put a live show together, right? They've got maybe
Yeah.
four people, and Brendan's doing like three of the jobs to do it. But to have the kids all there for the Flying Frank as well, and they're all like giving high fives to the drivers, that's something that you don't get to do if you
Yeah.
go to the NBA. Kids don't get the opportunity to high five all the players unless they're standing right there. Like, this is something that I feel they're doing such a good job at doing.
And once again, everybody has a forum to like chirp out about something that they didn't particularly
Yeah.
like about it. Suck it up and just sit there and watch,
See
or
the big
go get a
picture.
hot dog, or like take a walk, and let the people that are enjoying that part of the program enjoy it, because that's what's selling them on it. Like,
I look
get
at it and
bent
go,
about your like, this isn't NASCAR, this, that, and whatever. No, it's not. But this
it's
is
not, it's better.
exact. That's what I was just gonna say.
Like, it's not, it's better. I mean,
Yeah, if you don't
I
like it,
actually
take a walk.
feel I actually feel the NASCAR Canada Series could benefit from more WWE-esque kind of
Just the pageantry of it, right?
pageant. Yeah, exactly. Make it a big deal. Make it like these are the best of the best coming out here and
Watching
racing.
a
You have
Raptors
to.
game is a prime
Yeah.
example. The Raptors are getting like, well, I mean, if anybody follows basketball, they've been getting their asses kicked all over town all season long, more or less.
Yes.
But when they go to the commercial breaks on TV, they're doing like dances and like tricks. Like, the entertainment factor is there, and that's ticket value and added fan experience. It's
Yeah.
not something that you can take verbatim and translate it to racing, but you can take the idea of it, the principles of it, and like deliver fan experience
Yeah.
to the race fan.
And you have to be able to appeal to all ages, and that's the difficult thing is that
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have a large contingent of racing fans who are a lot older.
Mm-hmm.
And they go every week to the races, and it is, but I like that, I don't want to be, there's a lot of people that don't like professional wrestling, but when I think about it, they kind of work really two and two together when you take some of the aspects of what professional wrestling does in terms of making a spectacle out of something that is scripted, right? This isn't scripted.
No,
So we have it actually easier, right?
but you have to
There's
captivate and hold an
You
audience.
have to be able to captivate and hold an audience. When you look at what they did, so they moved their programming. Wrestling has been around for how long, right? How long? It's been forever. WWE has been massive for years, but
Mm-hmm.
now they're at their biggest that they've ever been. They just signed that huge deal with Netflix, right? And if you look at how many people follow something that is, quote, scripted television that isn't real, right? That's like it's fake fighting, but it's
Yep,
entertainment. If you think about how many people follow that, right?
it's pretty crazy.
And then you think about why. Well, if you look at the entrance and the pageantry and the way it's
Selling it.
presented like it's a big deal,
Yep,
right?
they're
Make the
selling it,
show,
man.
as exactly as Gord says, make the show more than just the racing. This is the thing that we have to compete against. You have to compete against this.
Yep.
This is the hardest thing that people have to compete against, because how many times have I been at a game or at a show and people aren't watching what's on the screen or what's happening at the facility? They're on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Racing has to be able to take the phone away. It has to be able to captivate, or else people are not going to be interested. So yes, have the ability to have the announcer accessible through your phone, have the race monitor available for people to access, or
Yeah.
something of the sort. You have to bring people into the show. I don't want to say like betting is a way to go. I don't think that's the right call. But WWE has friggin' betting now.
Yeah.
Okay? A
Like
scripted show has betting.
a broad term is basically enable people to use their phone, like their device, to interact in the sport, but also make the show worth looking away from. Like you
Yeah.
have a vested interest that you have to like go through shit on your phone, whatever. But you got to like make a compelling product that it makes you want to look away from your phone and pay attention to what's going on. And that's racing. I mean, there's only so much the sports entities themselves can do. I mean, watching X number of cars going around a track, to a lot of us, that's gold. Like that's all I
Yeah.
need. Like watch that and enjoy it for what it is. The art of driving and competing while doing it with a ton of other people doing it, and while having all that power and weight and mass in your at your fingertips. I mean, when you spell it out like that, that's a compelling thing, just saying it in my mind. But it is the big struggle is like getting people to look away and look at that type of product. But I mean,
So
that's why we're here.
I
That's what
hate
we're
to
doing
be
right now.
I hate to say to people, like, you have to have races that go quick. You have to have races that are so I'll pay a perfect example. People did not turn away from the hot rod races last year. because the
Yeah,
action was insane.
it's eye candy. It's good racing.
It was amazing. The battles that
Checks
they
all
had
the
in that
columns,
division
right?
at Sunset last year were absolutely amazing. You
Mm-hmm.
take a look at, say, Grand Ben's junior sprint division, the racing there was unbelievable. You have so many opportunities here to build something. And we've got a guy who knows a lot about businesses that's in the chat that's just posted. At a marketing partners function, just seen Sam's tags. Be different, walk to the grandstands, hand out hero cards, and believe in your partners. Create the relationships. Again, we have too much of the wait back, the wait and see, the stand back and just expect people to come to you. That's not how it works.
No.
It doesn't work like that. As you know, you've got to go out, you've got to seek out those people. You've got to go out there. And if you don't know if you have fans, go make them. At the end of the day,
That's right.
we started this deal and no one knew who we were. Now, we kind of did things a little bit backwards. We started at the top series and went backwards. But I ultimately believe that that was our best course of action, because now we have connections in the top series that we can reach out to. We have those drivers who have seen us go from where we were to where we are now.
Yeah.
And I think that they've seen a lot. They give us a lot more respect than we're just two kind of fans anymore.
Looking back at it now, man, it's almost like being in prison and we just went up and hit the biggest guy in the face first. Like
pretty much, right? I mean, it's there's things that I really appreciate, and the grassroots racing scene. People told us. I mean, Dave Lloyd told us. He said that's
where we need to be.
Where you need to be, and we kind of at that time were like, well, you know,
it's because we weren't that knowledgeable in it, but
no,
at the same time,
but now
we've been getting a crash course, no pun intended.
No pun intended, yeah.
That it was definitely the best move, but like it all sort of organically came to us. And one of the, I don't know how many reasons why we're just a couple of lucky SOBs,
man.
Yeah.
With that, these lucky SOBs are going to hang up the helmet for tonight. We had a long show, guys. 2 hours and 50 minutes.
It was like a two-parter, right?
It was a two-parter because our internet crapped out in the middle part.
If it was like VHS, you had to switch the tape halfway through.
Make sure you guys send the link to our page to people. Have them join up. We just approached 800 followers. We want to get over 1,000 followers on the page. Try and get back up to where we were on our old Facebook group. We'll try and get up to the 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 followers.
Sky's the limit. That was like Christopher Walken almost right there. Followers.
Okay. We really appreciate y'all. It was fun. We had a great night, and we're just trying to get through the stressful times. We're almost there, folks. We've got about 2 months, I think, till Motorama, and we're in full hype mode. We're gonna get Calvin Reese here on the podcast, I think, in February, because he's one of the guys that we've been waiting to get on there.
Guy's got personality for days, man. Just in his typing,
I think so. Yeah. Appreciate it, Corey McAllister, man. Hope your session out there, your marketing session, goes well, and
thanks, buddy.
We'll appreciate Corey as well. Corey's one that's always offering encouragement to us as a partner. And make sure you go out there, get your Raptor filters, get your two-speed motorsports equipment. They're the standard. While we're at it, we've got some other good partners as up on the screen. Racing Electronics, Mark Patrick Waugh. If you guys need stuff for your race car, he is the guy to go to. Epic Racewear, of course, for your race suits to get everything 10% off, courtesy from our friends at Epic Racewear. Just tell me you're an SNS Racer. GeForce TV, of course, Mondays with myself on GeForce TV Race Rebels Race Chat. On Tuesdays as well, of course, live action from West Weekend Speedway. Peterborough Speedway, we have action all season long. We'll be partnering with them this year. Be out there for a couple of races myself. Can't wait to be back out there, including for the Autumn Colors Classic. Recap Recovery Drink is your number one standard for recovery for electrolytes after a hard workout. Thanks to Dexter Stacy once again for partnering with us for the entire 2025 season. CTE Repair is your truck and trailer repair, courtesy of Cleveland Ellis, of course, brand new partner for us. in 2025. Thank you once again, Cleveland Ellis. Sunset Speedway, home sweet home. We'll be there for the most part this season. We'll be split throughout a couple of different places. Big events including the Junior Handler Classic and, of course, PC 275. Jen Hatch and Tracy Ellis recently named number 3, I believe it was, in the sales report for, I believe maybe it was 2024. Muskoka Jet Ski Rentals, our partner for 2025's Ladies of the Oval month, and of course 15% off of your rental purchase. Just mentioned you're an SNS racer, BT Racing, of course, Chris Lawrence and their BT Racing product. You can catch them all on the Bone Stock Racing all across the province. Two Speed Motorsports. Corey McAllister is the top of the line products for your race car and all sorts of different services. Just reach out to them. Two Speed Motorsports on Facebook and GSR, Oshweekend Speedway, of course, weekly action every Friday at Oshweekend Speedway, GSR, Glen Stires Racing, anything dirt racing related. Sauble Speedway, the home of Graydon Bunn for 2025. And of course, the weekly action up at the beach. Make sure you go out and check their Epic Racewear Bone Stock division. Expected to be very, very, very solid. Pedal Power 51, one of our partners that produces the amazing racing out from Flamborough Speedway across the province. Sauble Speedway, sometimes subscribe to their YouTube channel. Mighty Wipes, all natural scented product. Sap, nice sap smell to it. Cleaning products thanks to our friend Pam, and of course Ray Cullen Chevrolet. Go on yourself, get yourself a brand new vehicle courtesy of Ray Cullen and Steve McCaw. He'll set you up really, really nice with a brand new vehicle. Ladies of the Oval, of course, supporting ladies all month long here on the podcast. Randy and Sam, thank you so much for your support all season long. Paille Racing, of course, they're going back for trying to get their 3rd championship in the NASCAR Canada Series. Our friend JC Paille back once again with us in 2025. So thank you, JC. Danielle McPherson does all the photos out at Sunset Speedway. And of course, make sure you get your yearbook from her for the 2024 Sunset Speedway season. Strongco 77, subscribe to their channel. Of course, weekly action clips from Peterborough Speedway, including heat races and features. So subscribe to Strongco 77 on YouTube. And of course, our good friend Jomo at Jomo Media and the True North Racing podcast, John Morrison. He has the weekly podcast, True North Racing, and definitely make sure you guys subscribe to him. Underdog Creative has everything for you. Graphic needs, renders, logo design, pretty much anything that you need. Remax Jack has been our partner since 2020. He's helping me currently as I continue to look for a new condo. So head out to Remax Jack if you're buying or selling in the GTA. ImageDrops.ca, yes, Graydon Bunn is repping them right now on his head. The Camraths, Craig Camrath putting together all of our designs for our decals in 2025. And of course, we mentioned MPWA for racing electronics. Holy moly, I do the entire spiel. Graydon Bunn, how was that?
We just wanted to thank everyone, all that takes part in this, and it's always a great time. Can't follow that really. I don't know what else to say other than it's been a good night. Thank everybody for tuning in, and we appreciate it a lot. And
cheers, everybody.
Yeah, obviously for the James family, for the Ferguson family, with their kids, Ollie and Scarlett, both with their health issues, we're thinking of them. We're happy to be here and happy to be doing this. So thank you, everybody, and we'll talk again soon.
Time to hit the best song on the planet, and we'll wrap up for tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you all next week.
Friday nights we gather round, Kim and Graydon holding down, the laughter echoing through the mic, recent stories we all like. Ontario Motorsports pride, revving engines side by side, all season long we talk the track, sticker tails won't hold back. Kicking back with friends on air, racing dreams we love to share, stickers and scuffs is where we meet, Friday nights can't be beat. The engines roar and hearts on fire, stories that lift us higher. From the pits to the victory lane, Cam and Graydon know the game. Every lap brings more delight. Shine those trophies in the light. Join the fun, don't be late. Friday nights, it's a date. Rubber burning, asphalt black. Stories that we'll never lack. Live podcast where we belong. Racing life all off season long. Motorsports pride, ribbon engines side by side. All off season long we talk the track, stick our tails, won't hold back. Kicking back